I still see it as upcoming. Mm, yeah, we're live, I think. Okay, we can start,
Okay,
right? So
yeah, like
we'll start then, sir.
yes, 1 second. Um, is it streaming now?
I mean, I just closed the tab so that there is no echo,
Is
but I
it
was,
fine now?
yeah, I'm able to see it live, sir. If you can adjust that Google
Sure.
Google Meet screen, yes.
Okay, can you check once?
Checking.
Let me quickly check once.
Yeah, I checked, sir. It is fine. It is streaming. Just if you can like adjust that this presentation formatting.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is okay now, right?
Okay. So I'll start then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry for everyone who's watching on YouTube. We had some technical issues, but yeah, hello and welcome everyone to the second lecture as part of our new initiative, which is Latent Space, where we are specifically focusing on undergraduates, students who are doing outstanding research in their field. And today, to present this talk in this series, we are lucky to have with us Girish, who is a final year student in at UPS, and he's pursuing computer science along with AIML honors. I'll give a brief intro about Girish. So he works at the intersection of speech processing, multimodal learning, and trustworthy AI. And through collaborations spanning across academia and industry, his work has found its place at INTERSPEECH, ICASSP, and EACL, which are venues where the field's most consequential research is shaped. Uh, is driven by a larger vision of building meaningful and responsible AI, and he is going to unpack his journey behind the research, the early struggles, the right bets, and what it takes to carve out a research identity before graduation. So, without further ado, Girish, you have the floor. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So first of all, thank you everyone, and thank you so much to the Assam AI initiative for having me on Latent Speech. It means a lot to be here. Although you have explained, like, give a brief introduction about me, but if I introduce myself in few lines, I would say I'm a undergraduate student. I'm a final year undergraduate student to be precise, at UPS Dehradun, and studying computer science. And alongside my studies, I've been working in speech processing and as a research. So before going to my journey, I would say, like, I didn't come from IIT and I didn't have any research lab waiting for me like on day one, and I didn't have any clear roadmap to pursue my research in speech processing. But I had was I had was like curiosity about how machine understand human speech, and learn, and all things learn by doing. And I will talk about like how I found my research journey or research identity in speech AI. But so before I get into the research stuff, let me tell you like where my head was, like when I was first come to Dehradun, UPS in Dehradun, and right to the foothills of Himalayas, and where you are living like mountains and surrounded by beautiful places. And research is the last thing on your mind. And like when I was in first year, I traveled a lot of places and explored a lot of different places. Every weekend was new trek and new waterfall, new road trip. But I was fully in that zone and just enjoying my college life. um, I really don't have any clear direction or plan what I want to do with my career. So, but I'm not saying like that was wrong, but honestly, those experiences shaped me my person. And but that point is like I had zero idea that speech AI was going to become my thing, and I was just a regular student and having fun, all those things. So if you are sitting here today thinking like I don't know what I want to do yet, that exactly where I was. And like spark didn't come on day one, and it comes later. And when it come like everything changed suddenly. So like when I was in like my first year was wrapping up, and when I indulge in research, and every student have to choose their specialization as a core subject, which I chose as a AIML, not because I had a grand vision, but because I always want to like I was quite curious how different kind of problems are solving using AI, and how AI run behind the scene. And I always want to learn all those things, because in my first year, like GPT kind of models are invented, and they are solving different kind of problems more faster way. So in my journey, like I started learning from lectures, from online resources, from papers which I barely understood at first, and I slowly something clicked, and I started deeper into it. Moreover, at that time, I also started working with professor at my university, professor who have a real research experience. I thought let me try this research along my study, and let me see what it's like. And I remember like when I was in third semester, and I spent an entire semester working on research ideas, and I started working on different problems on in speech processing related to speech emotion recognition and healthcare application. I remember that when I was working on those projects, I machine learning was quite new for me. And initial period of like in third semester, teachers are not going to teach deeply about machine learning. They are just giving a brief introduction about AI. So I have to see a lot of lectures, and I had to just learn how machine learning works, and learning how different kind of algorithms, and how to implement. So all those things which I explore while uh, in my third semester. And when I was working with professor, I was working on three different ideas, and I spent a lot of my time on that. And but unfortunately, like in every journey, there is a lot of ups and downs. And I was quite disappointed when I came to know like that I'm not be a part of that research paper. I will not get any kind of profit and any kind of contribution from in that research paper. So I was like, that hits me, like when you, I'm not going to like that. Uh, like I was quite disappointed. You put in a month of efforts, you sacrifice your weekends, you think you are contributing something meaningful, and then you realize that your name won't be um, on it. Like it's a hard feeling, but here what I will say, like I mean, this honestly, this experience taught me more than a paper could have. Whenever I could learn whatever I could learn about speech processing during that time, I grabbed it. The fundamental I built in that semester, understanding audio features, how speech signals work, how pre-trained models do, like every kind of fundamentals I can grab from that experience. I grabbed it. And I suddenly I got a chance to work with a professor in UK, in Ulster University. Her name is Dr. Muskan Singh, and I work as a remotely. And I was like in like fourth semester. I remember that it was a time of December when I just completed my when I gave my exams. And I start working with her, and we work on some different projects. Initially, like in my 2024, one of my first paper got accepted in INTERSPEECH as a show and tell track, which in which we build an application for code switch autism detection in children. And of course, if I compare it to what I have done since, sure, it was a demo paper, and it was a smaller contribution. But let me tell you, like at that moment, it was quite biggest achievement of my life, and seeing your name in interspeech paper at the first time, knowing that your work is going to present at one of the top speech conference in the world, and that feeling was quite something else. But yeah, if I compare from now from other my current projects, it was like a simple project which I have done. And in 2024 I really wanted to present my paper and my work, but I couldn't attend the conference physically. But honestly, um, honestly, I say, like, I didn't sit and feel bad and about it, like, because
Girish,
by the time, hello sir.
yeah, am I audible? Are
Yeah.
you present? I mean, are you transferring, switching any slides or?
No, I'm not switching any
Oh,
slide.
okay, fine, fine, fine.
Okay.
Okay, okay, great, great.
So I'm just showing my, like, how's my research journey from initial period of my time, like from my university, and after when I so I was like yeah, we were there, like when I was not able to attend physically my interspeech conference, and but I couldn't attend the conference, but honestly I didn't sit, and I feel bad about it, like, because by the time my mind was already racing with new ideas and new problems I wanted to solve. And at the time when I think it really accelerated, I got a chance to work with Orchid sir, Orchid Chetia Pukan at IIIT Delhi. And this was a different from everything before, because this was a face-to-face collaboration, sitting together, discussing ideas, debugging code, and designing experiments in real time. I will be like very honest with you. Like my core knowledge in machine learning, the deep understanding that I have today, a huge part of the that was given by him, and he didn't just teach me techniques. He taught me how to think about problems, how to read paper critically, how to design an experiment that actually answer the research question. That mentorship was like best thing that happened to me in my research journey. And I remember that we spent like close to a year working together on multiple ideas in speech processing and in different domains. In fact, when I started my research journey, especially in speech processing, I was not focusing on particular domain. I was exploring every kind of domain, so I can get a fundamental or core knowledge of each domain. Like I work in speech emotion recognition, deepfake, and I also work in healthcare application. I'm working in different domains right now, and like at that moment when I was in Triple Delhi, and uh, one of my paper accepted in ICASSP. It was a main paper, and it was one of my best achievement which I had. And then another, like by the time interspeech came out, and we have a seven paper main paper accepted in a set single top tier conference, which was like a breakthrough moment for me, not just for my CV, but it increased my confidence, and it proved that the gain was real. The idea was solid, and like while working with that collaboration, the collaboration was working together. And after that, I started targeting on other conferences like ICASSP, EACL, IJCNLP. I'm right now targeting for AI conferences like A-Star conferences. Uh, mm, of course, there are a lot of they require a lot of knowledge, and you have to uh, have more core knowledge of your idea. So so here's something that nobody tells you about research, and I learned this the hard way. And but when I said, like I mean, my research journey particularly, I face a lot of ups and downs, and most of the phases, like I feel demotivated from many things. In fact, like when I came back from Triple IT Delhi, I was like on high, because after getting a seven paper, great mentorship, everything was flowing. And but then I sat down alone in my room in Dehradun. I asked myself, like, okay, what next? What my idea? So that, and at that moment I had nothing. You see, when you're working in a working like in a collaboration, there is a team around you. Someone has direction, someone brings the idea, someone motivates you when where you stuck. The energy of your group is quite like carries you forward. And but when you are alone, when it's just you and your laptop, you realize something very quickly that uh, if you don't know how to generate idea on your own, you can't survive in research. That's my perspective, but I feel like idea is most important part in research. If you are not able to generate the idea, if you are not able to uh, find the research gap in previous study, you can't depend on someone else. So see, when you're working as I work in a collaboration, you always get a motivation from them, uh, but I generally felt stuck when I started thinking like what I can do, but because like the problem wasn't that I couldn't code or I couldn't run the experiment. I could do all of that. The problem was that I didn't want to. I didn't know what to work on, and like I didn't have any direction, and without direction, what you will write or what problem you will solve. So this kind of demotivation face when I come back to my home, and I was realizing what I can do by myself. And then when I realized, so so what I did for to motivate myself, did I did the only thing I could. I started reading papers, a lot of papers. I can read which I can read, and let me be honest. Like in the beginning, it was brutal. I would open a newspaper or paper from ICLA or different ASR conferences, or I couldn't understand half of it. The math was like dense. Your notation was unfamiliar. Like techniques which they are applying, which was quite advanced from my studies. If I compare to my studies, I learned when I was in second year. I just learning basic machine learning concepts and deep learning. But when you are seeing like top research, you find that they are doing something different, and you cannot relate easily if you don't have any fundamentals in your if you don't have a clear your fundamental in machine learning. So but I kept going, and slowly, like very slowly, I started understanding how to read a paper. uh, I think like whenever I read a paper, I see as a reviewer or researcher, like like while reading a paper, I always try to ask different question. Why this problem happened, why this problem is important, what's the gap in existing work, why did they choose method over another, and what what would happen if you change this one thing, and where does this break actually. So I started focusing on those motivations where I can get my own ideas, and where I can think that's a particular thing which is not done yet. And certainly that's a important thing which I really want to learn. And yeah, after like when I was in third year, just starting my third year, I have a lot of ideas, and that shifts, from someone who execute um, other people's idea, like to someone who generated their own, and that was real tuning point in my research journey. So in fact, by the time I was like when I was in third year, like my something fundamentally shift. I was still working with same collaboration, and but at this moment, like dynamic was different now. I wasn't just executing anymore. I was like I was bringing ideas to the table. So in fact, I recent like I have published like four different paper, which all of my ideas, two of them are accepted in IJCNLP, and two are accepted in EACL, and one of my EACL paper got Social Impact Award. And you know, when you see your ideas are working, and many researchers are feeling that particular thing is like important in your work. And as I said, like while generating idea, I was always think like what kind of problem can be solved as a real time, not just making any publication by doing just anything. In fact, like I work in like different domains uh, in speech processing. But let me explain you one of my paper which I work in EACL actually. So so it was like I meant to say I was like rolling right, something that confidence that idea flowing paper getting accepted, and then suddenly you feel that you always you will not get any kind of ideas every time, but you have to make your ideas more mature. As my in my EACL paper, I got this idea from. In fact, when I was in hospital, there is a like actually actually happened. Actually, there is a hospital in my hometown, and they actually running a different kind of models, which was like made by different organization. They are just testing their models in real time, and they found that those models are related to multimodal, and there are a lot of modalities um, in their like in testing time. That model was multimodal, and they are feeling like that there are most of modalities are means like there's two modalities like audio and video. If they are facing that one of many times their audios are corrupted, or maybe their video are not like recorded properly, they face a lot of challenges like their output was not giving a better prediction. So moreover, I would say when I was like thinking about ideas, basically I work on in two different domain which I use in my as a technique in my studies, which is geometric learning and graph neural networks. Um, so basically, so I I want to say like um, like when I start working on my research ideas, it take a lot of time, and as I told, like in my EACL paper, which I want to tell about that. So you have like one model which is trained on two different modality, and both modalities are available in training time, but you cannot imagine that your both modality will be available in testing time or inference time. Maybe one of modality will be corrupted, or so at that moment how your multimodal will behave with single modality, if single modality will go in as a inference time, and moreover how we can improve the performance in your multimodal in while testing only single modality. This is one of my idea which I work on that, and this is not just applying different techniques to just to be emphasized that I want to like say I'm not applying just methods on to just face of like getting publication. I work on the real world application where the real make I mean to say like solving the real world problems. Uh, like moreover. I would say I work on different problems like in deepfake, in especially in source tracing. Most of the researchers are working on source tracing, like where they are tracing the exact source from which generator the audio was generated. But how about like your model knows 100 generators, and in at inference time, 101 generator come means unknown generator comes. So your model should be capable to say that your this audio is generated from unknown models, not just saying that random prediction which the model is already know about the model. So this kind of problem which I try to solve in my research, and not just particular domain. I work on different domain like in healthcare. I work in cross-lingual. I work in speech motion recognition. Right now, I'm working in ASR and multimodal like audio language models. As you know, like these I feel this is my perspective, and it is my perception that if a person is working in speech processing, they should know about the ASR. When I started working in speech processing, I feel like I've never worked in ASR and audio language models. So of course, audio language models are recently more advancing. Like there is models coming from NVIDIA, like Audio Flamingo and their versions. So I think this is a era of audio language models which I can work on that. In fact, I'm working on that. I have a lot of like ideas which I'm going to submit in some other conferences. So also, basically, I want to tell like in my research journey, what I feel or what I face is lacking. in ideas. Whenever I work in a collaboration, there is a supervisor, there is a whole team who motivates you, who show the direction, and everything is given by your team and your research lab. And when I feel like I always have to dependent on them in term of ideas or in term of because if you are working in a research lab, you always work under someone. You cannot be like leader of your team until you don't have a direction. So I work on those things in my research, not just working on speech processing for a particular domain. I read a lot of papers, I did literature review, and a lot of things which I can do to generate the ideas. And of course, like this is not a factory to generating ideas. Of course, it take a lot of time. When I of course reading a paper on same topic like more than 10 or 20, maybe you just get a one single idea, or you find the one of gap which is never done or never seen by other authors, and never done yet. So you can work on that and how you are approaching those problems. So yeah, that's what I learned from my journey. Is like, I think this is one of the most important in research, to have your own idea, have your own direction which you are going to build in your projects. Because like whenever I see a lot of like successful peoples, like if I take an example of Elon Musk, of course they have their own ideas. They have of course he had a lot of team who mature their ideas. But companies is like he owned his own company, not other. There, so in the same way, I think if I'm doing any kind of projects, uh, I think I should focus on what I think and what I can make something new for the society and for the to do a better research. So that's all I which I did in undergraduate student. Moreover, like whenever I talk with different people, and they always think like I am working in particular domain in speech processing. As an undergraduate student, I try to learn every domain which I can do. Like I work in healthcare, I work in cross-lingual speech emotion recognition, ASR, and some other domains I also exploring. Not just because like in future, of course, I will go in higher studies and I will, of course, I will work in specific domain. But whenever I go in future, like in higher studies, of course, maybe I will not work in those domain which I have explored till. So maybe I have to explore a different problem in that research lab. So I have to be more capable to understand the different problems immediately. So that's why I'm like working in different domain in speech processing. So yeah, that's all about like what I have done, and these are like my recent paper architecture which I propose in my study. And one of my paper accepted in ESL. This is the first architecture, basically, which I told like it is related to multimodal. And what if like a single modality, like one modality is missing in testing time, how the model will behave and how we can enhance the performance. Other is like related to my source tracing, and both are related to source tracing. And in both architecture, I propose my architecture using GNNs and graph geometric learning, in which I'm more into in these things. Moreover, I say like uh, yeah, of course, I work in different fields, and I'm trying to explore different techniques. Whenever I see latest research papers of NeurIPS or different kind of like ICLR, so initially it was quite difficult to understand, but after the time when I when I create the habit to read a paper, not just like as a text to a text top to bottom, I always find the research gaps and their motivations and every kind of thing which I can understand from that research paper, to like to just understand the mentality of that author, how the author is creating that idea, and how what kind of mindset author have to solve that problem. I try to understand the mentality of that author, so I can so it means like I can indulge all those mentality in myself, so I can do more better research in speech processing. Of course, in my higher studies, like wherever I go for masters or PhD, of course I will work in a specific domain. Whatever I will do in like in research lab, I will more focus in specific domain to enhance the models and uh, to do a better research. So that's all about me, what I have done till now. And moreover, I think like where I lack in my research journey is I never collaborate with different research lab in my journey. Like I just work with two different collaboration in UK and IIIT Delhi. But whenever I see different research profiles like of different students, I see like they are working in different industry and they are also working in different research labs. They have a good collaborations. Um, in of course I feel like somewhere I feel like I never uh, collaborate much as I can do, but I feel where in triple IT Delhi I learned a lot of things, and in Ulster University at UK I feel like uh, I am more I have a lot of freedoms to work my own ideas, which make me more independent to as a doing research by myself, not like depending on someone. So yeah, that's all about my research journey. What I have done in my in speech processing.
Great. Thank you, Girish. You have posted some, is it a your GitHub profile link, is it? Scanner.
Yeah, this is like my Twitter profile.
Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you so much. That was really such an informative talk and power packed. I hope I'm audible, right?
Yeah, you are audible.
Can you hear me? Okay, so I mean, first, I think I'll go with some of the questions. Looks like these were coming into the Google form. So, in case you have answered already some of or you mentioned some of these things, you can just maybe uh, take the keep the reply,
Oh,
however
sure.
short or you that way you want to keep. Okay, so I'll start with they're asking about your journey. Okay, at what point did you decide to focus specifically on trustworthy AI and healthcare applications?
So first of all, I'm not saying like I work specifically into these two domains. I have told earlier like I work in different uh, domain in speech processing. I work in healthcare, defect. But as you can see, like in my own research, my most of research related to trustworthy and healthcare application. It just because whenever I get a direction from someone or like any data set coming from my organization or where I'm working uh, are more related to healthcare and trustworthy. So that's why I feel like most of my research or most of my papers are accepted related to trustworthy and and healthcare application.
Okay. And then their next question is like, yeah, regarding these research opportunities, right? How did you secure research opportunities at IIIT Delhi, Ulster University, and what do you advise for other research within such?
So, to be honest, I was just exploring what I can do by myself, but when I realized that I need a supervision of with like who can guide me and who can show the direction, I try to communicate with different professors, and of course, if anyone want to work with a different organization or different research lab, they have to. Uh, of course mail, you have to contact with them, you have to show your capability, you have to show your skill. But sometimes like when I was in undergraduate, like in my second year, I don't have any kind of publication, but what I have was I was good in coding, so they see my skills. So that's why I feel like that they I get a chance to work with them and make a good career in research. Of course, if most of the students right now are working in research and even in their second year, I have like a lot of students and my juniors. I'm trying to guide them, and they are working with me and as a research in different projects. So I always tell them you should collaborate with different research labs, so will get a different environment, research environment, and you will get more knowledge. So it's just, you have to mail different people, your different professors. What I have done is same, which people can do.
Okay, okay, that's helpful. And then among your, you said you are already working on different research areas, right? You like to explore.
Yes.
So they're asking among your research areas, they've mentioned a few of those areas. Which problem did you find most challenging and why? Which of these areas?
Like when I start doing coding, it was like initially I was facing like how to solve that particular problem, but after like doing coding, learned a lot of things which I can manage. In fact, I made different toolkits which relieve me to doing any different kind of experiment. But what I can face in my like research or different topic, whenever I want to work on different topic, like right now I'm working audio language models. So different kind of problem which I face, like how this kind of problem can be solved. Of course, resources are like limited for me, and uh, main things like sometimes I'm not able to code, but there are a lot of like cloud codes are there and different AI systems are there which help me to coding. But the limitation is resources which I'm facing right now. Moreover, of course, you cannot say like after reading 10 or 15 papers you will get the idea. Of course, I need to spend a lot of time and have to discuss with my team, so which need time to mature that idea. And such kind of these kind of like normal problems which I face, and not any specific problem which I'm facing right now. So yeah.
Okay, I see. And then one of the question is, can you walk us through your typical research workflow from idea to publication? Just maybe in brief, if you can. How do you ideate,
um,
take it to publication?
So, of course, I spend more time to read papers. I find like as I think like whenever I read papers, I think like as a reviewer, what kind of problem the person or author has solved, what is the or what kind of thing already have done in the research in recent publications or recent ideas. I try to find the research gaps. And of course, you while reading your paper, while reading any paper, you have to be more imaginative. You have to imagine a lot of things, and that's the only thing which gives you idea. And after that, of course, you need time to experiments and try different approach. Why that particular approach is not working, you have to think that why this work or why this not working. So you have deeper knowledge, because you are writing a paper, you show how what kind of experiment you have done. And so you have to be more specific what uh, I mean to you have to know everything while doing experiment, while generating an idea. You should know the direction what actually you are selling in that paper. So everything should be you should know while creating an idea or to publish in paper.
Okay. And one question which I can see is around for like for beginners, what tools, frameworks, or data sets? So very raw question, right? What tools, frameworks, or data sets should beginners focus on?
So I think like for beginners, as I also did, I work on like data sets which are publicly available, Kaggle and different platforms. Zenodo is like one of the platform which provide large data sets, and I work on those things. I to just learn my machine learning techniques or my machine learning skills. It really enhanced me how to load, how to manage the data set, how to if you have a low RAM, how if you have low resources, how you can handle the large data sets. It's just all about the coding things, which of course by the time of every student can every beginners can learn about all these things by whenever they are trying to solve the problem. Of course, whenever I face all this problem, I go to GPT or some Stack Overflow is there. And but whenever I feel any face any kind of problems in my work, I always try to use those things. And of course, there are a lot of platforms in which provide the data sets, so beginners can work on those things.
Okay, I had a follow up to that question. Like when as an undergrad, do you feel sometimes in terms of compute, right? When you're trying to, I mean,
Mhm.
maybe let's say fine tune or whatever, try to train some of these models, or you have this idea that you want to do something foundational. So you think that sometimes there is lack of resources, or there is some disparity. Like some universities, I know some of the IITs, they even give access to supercomputers and stuff like that. Do you think that is a challenge, or how can one?
Of course, this is a big challenge which I face in my journey. Like when I start working on a small data set, it was quite easy to work on my laptop. Even I have a low resource laptops. So, but when I work in an organization like in Ulster University or in IIIT Delhi, uh, I have to manage large data sets, which is like 75 GB or 100 GB data sets. And at the moment, of course, I cannot run on those all those data sets on my laptop. But to be honest, whenever I worked in any kind of organization, they always provide me a resource. But if I work alone, like in my major projects, I work on my like agentic AI, and I have to fine tune my LLMs for my projects. I don't have resources for those things. I face a lot of problems at that moment, but at last, uh, if you like fight for something, you will always get resources for those things. Like I have to fight with my university. I need some resources. They provide me, but later, but it take times. But you have to do something to get all those resources if you need actually, and you have to show your motivation what actually I want to do. So in fact, I was working on like project which is related to completely LLMs, and I have to fine tune different models. And I show my project to my college, and they really saw that like this is something they are going doing great. So they provide me resources. So every beginners can do. They have should have a motivation, and they show your direction to someone who can provide you those resources.
Okay, that is good advice for students. And okay, maybe like couple of questions. There are some, I can see some non-technical questions as well. Or maybe, yeah, I'll take this one. What are the most exciting open problems according to you in multimodal AI and speech technologies today?
So right now I am focusing on audio language models, which is like completely different era of speech processing. How LLMs can understand speech and audio. Of course, there are a lot of models and there are a lot of research already going on. If I see like models like Audio Flamingo coming from NVIDIA, which I talked earlier, and Quantum Audio and models, audio language models related to coming from GPT. So they're doing something else, and which I really want to learn. And this is like most important, which every like if I see different researchers who are doing work in speech processing, I'm only seeing like they are working in audio language models. They are exploring those things like how in different ways, how like basically whenever you see papers related to LLMs, they are a lot of work already have done. But similarly, uh, all those works are completely doing in audio language models, and such kind of research are completely uh, new related to speech processing.
Great. Okay, and maybe one last question. Again, this is general, but in terms of advice, what would you give to your first year self, or like what advice would you give to first year students?
So, if I relate myself, like I was in first year, I really enjoy my first year. To be honest, I travel a lot of places. Of course, every student will not live near mountains, but I feel like in first year they should explore different problems. They should focus on coding, which I really did, and I'm more into DSA. So I thought like if I will go in second year, whatever I will choose any kind of domain. This coding will always help me. Of course, there are a lot of AI, GPT and Cloud Code who do coding, but you should have a fundamentals. You should know about every fundamental like, core concept of your coding. So if you are understanding the code which is written by a AI, so you can debug by yourself. And so every student who are in first year, they should focus on coding skills. and try to explore new things. We try to meet seniors. Of course, when I was first year, I met my senior with whom I am working till now, and he working in speech processing too. And I have a lot of discussion with him. I got that kind of research environment which from my first year, but I start working in second year because I just want to learn all those basic concepts of my coding and my core concepts of different subjects, so which I can use in my different my studies. So I will not lack in those things. So every first year students or who are just going in like bachelor, they should focus on their these skills.
Great, thank you so much, Girish. I think your advice, your talk, a lot of students who will be listening, they'll take a lot of motivation from this session, I'm sure. So I thank you once again for
Thank you so much to you.
participating.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
let's ask Shishir sir. Do you have any comments?
This is actually like very inspiring story, and thanks for sharing your undergrad story. One last question from my side, Girish.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, what suggestion you are going to give to your younger friends, like or your fellow researchers? I mean, related to using coding agents, for example, or whatever the paraphrasing tools are there, or so for now, prisms are there, prism for OpenAI to
Yes.
write paper, so that you can effectively use that, because anyway we have to use that. Okay, otherwise we don't have any choice for that. And what suggestion you want to give related to effectively using those tools?
I feel they should stop using those tools until they don't have a basic knowledge. Because whenever I write paper, of course, I use GPT to get content from them. And but when you have your own idea, if you are going to publish that idea, you should know how, like, before generating an idea. Of course, GPT can generate a lot of ideas, but this is not research. And of course, GPT can write a paper and paraphrase the things. Paraphrase is like okay, but of course, a lot of models like Turnitin, they can also judge like you have paraphrase from AI. So you should know how to write the paper. You should have a good English, not too much like for C2 language or C2 level, but you should have a basic knowledge about how to write the papers. And of course, for coding things, as I told, like every student should know the core concept of yours, coding. If you have, of course, you can use the code, like Cloud Code. Of course, I use Cloud Code. I'm not saying I'm not using. I still using, but I know wherever these AI agents lack, I know where I can debug myself, and whatever I'm doing coding, I know what I have to give the prompt, because to get the code, you have to know what actually you are asking to that particular AI. So, of course, I'm saying like every student know the basic concepts. If they are writing the paper from AI, they can write, but they should know the direction, their research question, which they are going to show in your publication. That's why, of course, reviewer knows like what actually the problem they are trying to solve, and is it already done or not. They should know how. They should know that problem is already done or not, because most of the AI gives existing problems and techniques which you can apply if you are getting from AI. Of course, those all techniques are existing because AI is of course trained on those data which is already exist. So as I like, I'm again saying like students should have a core concept more clear to work on anything.
Thank you. I think we don't have any other questions, right? We can.
Yeah, I don't see any further questions, sir. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So maybe we can wrap up this and then.
Yes, so
Uh,
I mean, thank you everyone who has joined in today for watching the session, and special thanks to Girish for giving this amazing talk.
Um, Thank you so much to you, and thank you, sir, for having me in Latin speech.
Sure, we
I
hope to
think,
have you back sometime in the future.
sure,
yeah,
sir.
great. Yeah.
Um,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you, Girish. I'm going to stop the uh, live. One second.